and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, Anne, and disembodied hands, Quindy and Justin, and sometimes even John. How are you all today? Let's see. Wow. It's beer 30 somewhere. Apparently it's beer 30 where Nomad Zeke is. I've drunk all my tea. I don't get more caffeine until this afternoon. But we can have water. Hydration. It's a thing. All right, guys. We have a dude. We have a Vitanus. Hellborn Warlock. Yeah, that guy. Oh, and I totally forgot my palette. So what I'm going to say is that today we're going to work on orange and red. We're going to continue playing with our freehand back here. I think I might want to add a slight design in the corners, but it's going to be tricky because this one curves around. So I'm going to think about it. I'm going to grab my palette real quick and then we're going to start. I am dragging this morning. It was a very late morning because last night was a production number dinner. I roasted a duck and then I reduced the carcass to duck broth because duck broth and, you know, duck fat and all the renderings of duckness. So we're going to make duck risotto tomorrow night. But boy, that's just, it's just a lot of work. The duck itself is, you know, a lot of work. And then the rest of dinner is work, and then after dinner, when you're tired and just want to sit down and play computer games or paint, you have to reduce the duck. Thank God for Instant Pot. That's all I gotta say. Your skull is rainbow colored. Oh, wow. Professional at oversleeping. Yeah, I've had those days, Quindy, where you suddenly have like 15 minutes to maybe get ready and you manage to somehow squeeze your entire routine into those 15 minutes and you're like, wow, why can't I do this every morning? And then I could sleep later. But it just doesn't work like that, does it? Haha. It was a very tasty duck and we have tasty meat to put in the risotto and yeah, I love duck. I try to do one a year and they had fresh ones at one of the grocery stores I go to. So let me get in focus. I could not resist. I failed my save versus duck. But now the whole house also smells like duck this morning because duck just infuses everything. Definitely doesn't work that way. Yeah. Irrational panic is a really good motivator, isn't it? Hey, Airwiz. How's it going? Facts. Total facts. All the facts. Just the facts, ma'am. All right. So let's do some red and stuff. Let's see. We were using... I need to get this other paint off of my paint. I have paint on top of my paint, and this is not productive. There. I've removed the paint from my paint. We were using Phoenix. Where is it? Not that one. Not that one. Dang it. There. Phoenix. That is the red we are using. And then we were using... That's right, Explosion Orange. Which is a nice orange to go with Phoenix Red. Just deciding not to take the standard triad up because Explosion Orange is a little brighter than Fire Orange, and I wanted that. Wanted a more saturated orange. Yeah, and then straight up to that, and then maybe we'll add some Lantern Yellow. While we're doing this, while we are working on the freehand back here, which will be these colors, because these are the colors we used on the skin of this model. We'll also probably be filling in these potion bottles, which I also wanted to be that color. So we'll base those and we'll be filling in and doing the fire. Let's get some white because I do need, we sketched our outline last time, but I still need to fill it in. Thank God tonight I don't have to cook. Tonight is leftover Indian food. Thank God. I try to save my cooking for the weekends because I know how work intensive some of it can get. So that way, if I cook up a storm on the weekends, I can survive on leftovers. We can survive on leftovers for at least a few days of the week, which is a win. Total win. Hey, Prussian word I can't say online. family show. Hi, Prussian. Thank you. Thank you for the sub. 2 months. 2 months. Dang. You're new. Welcome. Who sucked you in? Did you find my show, or did you find Crow's Nest, or did you find Reaper Live? Did Ed giving away half the company every week, like, entice you? I always joke about that, but I swear he does. He's just like, let's just give away everything. I guess they're a little more restrained now. Hello, Bob and Julie. Hello, green users. All right, so let's get this white. Usually I'm going, when I'm sketching and underpainting a design, I'm going about 2 to 1. I'm also going to get my Ritterlich blue out, which is the color, the base color for this, which is a beautiful dark blue. If you don't own it, I encourage you to get it. It's probably the best dark blue in a Master Series as far as coverage goes. And just general color, it's kind of our version of Prussian blue, dark Prussian blue, for those of you who know tube colors. So the nice thing about underpainting with the white is I can get my Ritterlich out and just kind of touch it up, make sure everything looks really good. Oh, 3 Luca, awesome. Fantastic. See, I totally forgot the llama show. I should have asked if it was the llama devotees that brought you in. Yeah, Luca is awesome. He is, it's funny because we have such different painting styles. I like watching his stuff. He has a very poppy style, which is very pleasing to look at. I really like it. Reminds me of Sergio's stuff a little bit. Yeah, so we mostly work on 28s on this show, which I think is also different from Luca. A lot of times I see him working on like bust commissions and stuff and larger models. Yeah, so today we have our Warlock. And I had to figure out what we're replacing our Knoll with. David wanted to know if I was going to keep the Lizette, and I told him I didn't know if I was. Lady Nim, good morning. Alpaca. Oh, sorry, we don't trust llamas. Thank you, Quindy. Thank you. I am not very, up on my various species in that realm, so thanks for the correction. I would not want to mislabel the Alpaca Nation. Sorry. They would descend upon me with much spitting and trouncing of hooves. Alrighty. They are cute, though, alpacas. Alrighty. Oh, no! Not the COVID. Sorry, lady. I'm sure that that's going to become a common refrain with how virulent the current version of the plague is. I hope that you're not feeling too bad and that you do feel better soon. You know what this work from home thing during the pandemic has fostered, guys? I just realized this. Everybody's like, oh, this is great, work from home. I'm like, no, it's terrible. It means that when you're sick but you're not feeling too bad, you still have to work because remote work. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. It's his normal stream. Yep. Yes, he does. He puts on the filter, as I used to call it, the this is a family store filter. I put mine on whenever I worked at the game store in the old days because there were children around. Alrighty, so we've got our 2 colors here. We've got a beautiful Ritterlich blue, which, like I said, is a lot like a dark Prussian blue, and probably the best dark blue in Master Series paints. So if you do like blues, I encourage you to pick up 9115 Ritterlich. It is actually one of my favorite colors that I created over the years for MSP. Now I'm going to start sketching a little bit. I'm going to grab, I kept the Ritterlich a little bit more thick so that it could go over the white here a little bit easier. It's about a 4 to 1. It's going to cover over white pretty well, as you can see. So I'm going to use this to kind of trim up these lines. I essentially want to do a gold border around each of these flame shapes, and then I want to do a fill color in the middle of all of the flame shapes. So I may have to make some of these a little wider, expand things a little bit. We've also got the problem that this cape is asymmetrical, so you can see the edge of it over here, but around here it actually has extra cape that's curling around. So it's a challenge to make your design look centered in that case. I may have to extend it a little bit even more. I already extended it a little bit last time, but I may have to bring it out a little bit more over here. I need to get focused. Here we go. There we are. All right, so, and I underpaint with white because it's easy to cover over in case of mistake. I also like to use it because anything I paint over this white is going to stand out against the really dark blue here. So if I'm going to do an NMM gold edge around these flame shapes, which was the plan, if I start with white underneath and put my NMM colors over the top, they will show up brighter, just as if they were done over white primer. And it will be far easier to see the shape against this dark blue. Whenever I'm doing freehand against a darker background, I do this technique. Oh no! Let me, my OBS is not giving me issues right now. Let me just quick get speed test up and, new window. And do a quick speed test to see what we're doing. And I'll let that run and come back to it. Occasional frame drop, yeah. Maybe it's just not bad enough for OBS to pick it up yet. Let us hope that... oh, happy Martin Luther King Day, by the way, everybody. And let us hope that for the holiday, Comcast has not decided to just decide that we don't need good internet. David has today off. Obviously, I do not. But I'm pretty happy. I booked a flight to see my parents in the end of February, so I have to enter in some time off toward the end of February. You guys will be without me for a couple days. Didn't get to see my mom when we went to Mexico because she wasn't feeling well. So my parents are getting up there, so I definitely want to go and see her. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put any color in some of these skinnier flamelets, so we'll see. Remember, the smaller it gets, the harder it is for that color to actually read. So some of the small flamelets may end up being just gold at the top there. Oh, Bippy, hold on. Yeah, it's Betty White Day too, right. Who is just a cool person. Let me get back up to my upload test error. Wow. That's weird. It's never done that before. All right. I'm going to watch it this time while we do this. Well, my download is fantastic. It's actually higher than I've seen in a long time. But that doesn't matter. It's uploading the paint frames that matters. It's okay. It's not like awesome, but it's decent. So we may be dropping a frame here or there, but just like a couple minutes ago, Alfei is David, guys. Yeah, we started getting some choppiness. My speed test says I've got like 21 though, so it should be okay. I have to clean up this little bit here. It's not going to work very well unless I make it curvy. But yeah, it just started a couple minutes ago. I don't think it's you. Yeah, but we hate it when you have to watch it and lower. Oh, and Grey Wolf, thank you for the resub. Oh, it's a subiversary. Sorry, David, gonna sing. Happy subiversary, happy subiversary, happy subiversary, happy subiversary to Grey Wolf. Thank you. 12 months. Subiversary. We almost got distracted by the evil internet. Every 5 seconds or so. Oh, weird. Yes, of course, Grable. Yeah, you're watching the back end. So every 5 seconds or so, it just drops. Weird. Comcast, how we don't love you. Sorry, guys. Hashtag blame Comcast. We do our best, right? With the internet that is given to us, as Gandalf says. Or, not really. Slightly paraphrasing there. All that is left to us is to choose what we do with the time given to us, I guess. Not the internet given to us, but, you know. That Gandalf thing. All right, so I kind of did a little scoop there to make the flame come up from there. I don't know if that's going to be very successful, but we'll figure it out. Yes, thank you for the resub. 29 months. Nomad Zeke humbling most of the rest of you with his amazing subitude. So I'm just tightening up these things. Where I sketched them before, now where I like the shape, I'm just going to be making it a bit heavier, making it a little cleaner. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we don't have bad weather around here. It's cloudy today. It's been very nice for the last couple days here in our area. But maybe Comcast's national weirdness affects everyone. Maybe it's the butterfly flapping its wings on the East Coast. I don't know if chaos theory applies to the internet, but it seems like it should. Yeah, we had several months where the internet was just fine, though. So I personally wonder if they've been working on something. And we're just getting hit with the repercussions. Yeah. Chaos theory is the internet, yes. Yeah, the East Coast, I know, was getting hit with a lot of crap, so... So I'm going to thin this down and neaten it up. And see if I like it a little better when it's really thin. Easiest way to get a thin line isn't to actually paint a thin line. It's to paint a thick line and then take your color, that's your background color, and just thin it down by painting against it. It's much easier to get super thin lines that way. And it takes away the pressure of having to draw the perfect line in the first place. Looks nice with thin lines, I think. So it's kind of a back and forth between making the lines more solid but keeping them thin. Or making them thinner. And I just want the shape to come out. It will look more like a fire once we get the color inside. The downside of making this border very thin is just will the gold show up? Will it show up as gold? So that's a question. I'll have to make sure my white lines are very solid. So I'm going to make a few of these lines that are a little bit less solid, more so. I could make my white thicker for this, but then I'd have a harder time going over it if I did Blorf. Because Ritterlit covers pretty well for a dark blue, but it's still a blue, so it's not like perfect with the coverage. But I want a nice solid line so that when I put my gold color over it, it'll show up. This one's a little hard because it's down in the dip of this fold. There, that's better. And we found this shape on the interwebs. I just did a search for stylized flame and looked at some options and tried to pick one that would fill this space well. And that I liked the shape. That was kind of what I had in my head. And we're using DaVinci Maestro, Series 10, size 1 today. Didn't want the Raphael for this one. Hello? True enough, Turgeon. True enough. We just all get spoiled by that consistency. Want this line to come a little more solid. The more solid and the brighter I can get my lines to show up against this dark background, the more the NMM edging will show up. Oh, I blurfed a little bit there. But this is looking nice now. I just need to get the top here a little tighter. So freehand can take a while, as you've noticed. However, the other thing I hope you take away from this is that I've had to adjust the shape after I initially put it down. So it's not like your first try as far as putting down the shape needs to be perfect. You can get it down roughly and then adjust it. It's kind of like doing a rough draft in writing. You can be crappy with your rough draft. You can then go in and fix it. So don't be afraid to try freehand because you're afraid you'll mess it up. You will almost inevitably mess it up. I mess it up all the time. And then I have to go and correct it. That's just like a necessary process. It's very rare to get your design down perfectly in one go. Now, even though the design is going down into shadows here, I am just using the same weight of white line. I can always shade later when it comes to shading the NMM and the orange and red. That's really easy. So I'd rather make sure my design is heavy and not try to do my shading with the underpainting by leaving my white line a little dimmer there. It is a thing you can do. Morning, Daffodwear. I ordered a bunch of models from Reaper. I need to sit down and figure out what we're going to paint after this guy is done. I think I'm replacing Knoll with Hairfolk, but I have to look. I've got a couple other nice Reaper models that I ordered. Although I do really like the Hairfolk. She's really cool. And I would almost certainly have to give her a purple blouse. I don't think I've painted anything purple for quite a while. Have I? Nothing is purple right now. And none of our recent models have been purple. I must have really busted out of my rut. Like, purple and gold are typically my go-tos, but for some reason on this show, for the last several months, we have not touched purple. Sometimes it's good to get out of your paint rut, but then you almost inevitably fall into a new paint rut. Yes, if Jen watched my show, she would be scowling right now. Kaz, I would have to go and look. There was one of the Dread Mirror, like a Dread Mirror lady in a fancy dress that I put up for as a potential for my paint along that people didn't want to do, so I still want to paint her, so I'll probably put her on the docket. Coming up. Plus, with that big fancy dress, we could do some really small, intricate, repeated freehand instead. which is something I don't often do. Usually I do a stylized something or other, a larger shape. But we could do a little repetitive tiny pattern. Guess we kind of did that with Lizette on the interior with the vines, but every once in a while, when I have to order paint from Reaper, I always look at like recent releases and try to figure out if there's something I'd like to do. All right, this is looking pretty good. I need to solidify that line down there, and I need to make my lines a little thicker up here, and then we're good. We'll start filling in. I don't know what the mini for the 19th challenge is. Because I don't usually look at Challenge League. My life is enough of a challenge. So yeah, Kaz, which mini is it? Champion of Mossaluth. Oh, is that the fish guy? Yeah, Quindy gave me the link. One sec. Yeah. I'm in the USA. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's... Yeah, he's not really my shtick. There's a lot of texture on that armor. But it's, I don't know, he's kind of chunky. He's not really my kind of thing, and he'd be like I don't, that model has so much texture that really the way to paint it almost is with like base coat, wash, and highlight, or you could layer it. But it's really at that point, it's brush control. I like some of the other fish people stuff a little bit better, I think, than that. I don't know if that would be... See, the thing is, I try to pick stuff for this show that shows off some different different skills, right? And I don't know if that one would really do it. I think I would start with sea colors and figure out from there. Let's just paint him coral pink, Cornico. All right, so we've got that. Now we need to fill in areas that we're going to put color in, if we're going to put color in them. So now I get to see how much I can really do. I'm leaving a dark line all around the interior here. Now doing this sort of thing, doing your big shapes and then like breaking down or putting a design or an element inside of those shapes helps you really do what looks like a very complex freehand. And it isn't as complex as it looks, but it does look, at that point, it is more intricate. I think I need to go over that with the darker blue, actually, to get a better line. Pink it is. Pink and gold. Cornico. Hey, New Encode, thank you. 26 months, dang. You guys with the long time watching. Like, is there something on that model that you feel is, like, really difficult? Or is it just that it's really busy? The Mare Sleuth guy. Oh, the claw. Got it. I did a crab. The crab dude a long time ago. Part of it. Didn't finish that one. Transformations, I always do kind of the same way. I wonder if I have something. Do I have? No, if you remember I guess I don't always do it the same way, but the living statue I did is one. Let's see. Do I have anything? I don't think I do. But usually if I'm transforming something, I will make it like have kind of an energy, or I'll stipple like a pattern moving back into the rest of it. Usually you want to blend, kind of a fade, a pattern fade. Yeah, we're like over 400 episodes. We're insane. Kreniko's, or not Kreniko. Arg, I lost it. Quindy said that she would let me know when she had a firm count. Because we're gonna have to do something special for our 500th episode or something. If we're lucky, maybe our 500th episode can like fall at a good time to celebrate something. Yes, you. Sorry, all these K's. I told you I was a little slow this morning, right? Sometimes I can like push myself in my energy level on a day and I'll feel okay the next day. But today I feel like I just did too much yesterday and I need a whole nother day of rest. Energy levels are not optimal today on the Ann, nor our brain cells. I need to talk to Julia still in the Medzik. I have not emailed Julie to ask what we can do set up to do a painting big Poketool. I would need to ask Ed as well, because once I have the Poketool prototype, it would need to be put on mold and created. So there are a couple moving parts to organize there. And I'm already moving so many other parts that I just haven't had time to slot it in. Kreniko, you also are awesome. Perhaps not in the Quindy way, but in your own wonderful way. All right, so here. And don't worry if you get brush strokes here. Like, I'm going to fill in a big swath of area. And I'm almost necessarily going to get brush strokes, because since I'm using thinned paint and I'm not using a lot of it because I want to control it, inevitably you're going to get overlap. Some parts of the area are going to be, lighter. Some are going to be darker. Just keep going. Another layer of white can pretty much eliminate brush strokes. So this is the one time in base coating, quote unquote, or in filling, where we are not worried about brush strokes. And I blorfed up there, but I'm going to wait and fix it after I've got the rest of this. And again, I'm not going to worry so much about shadows when I'm blocking in the white. I'm going to save that for when I'm actually filling in the color. You can see that my paint is thin because it wants to pool there. See it? You're only one cog in the pokey process. Julie. 413. 413 episodes. How insane is that, guys? All right, now I'm going to actually let this dry a bit. I'm going to touch up the parts that I blorfed. I am actually going to make this a little bit closer to the outer edge. I'm leaving this dark blue line. Once again, drawing a dark blue line all around this would be a lot harder than just filling in an area and leaving a dark blue line. Flame, stylized flame, Hyper Bunny. He's a Warlock, and I wanted to do fire. So this is him. I also wanted to echo some of the red and orange that's in his skin. We're going to be doing it on these potion bottles, and we're also going to be using those colors to fill in the flame. All right. The playlist should be in relative order. Wow, Quindy's been working. Good job, Quindy. Wrangling the thing, the giant 413 episode beast that is the Pro Tips playlist. I'm impressed. So actually I'm going to put some of this white over these potion bottles, guys. Even though they're a light gray, if I do the white, it's going to make the orange show up more when I go to put it over these bottles. Wisdom and intelligence equals patience. Maybe constitution as well, and some forms of patience. Like when I do my planks in the morning, and I'm slowly counting off the seconds till I can stop. I think that's definitely like, I mean, if it's a strength check. So I'm just going to get the little tops of those bottles, and I'm going to get the bottom. There we go. I'm going to make it a little brighter at the top of this bottle. So that'll show up and probably make it a bit, we'll highlight the bottle too after we do it, but there. A bit of underpainting, and that will help everything to stand out a little bit. Yes, it's true. Oh yeah, no, I get it. I haven't organized my stuff on my channel, and I should, especially with the new Fundamentals series coming. I will need to put together a playlist for the first time in my existence. I try to only wrangle like one thing at a time, but I'm wrangling multiple new things lately. Maybe that's why I'm tired. The last week of May. And that will be KublaCon out here in California. Memorial Day weekend is Kubla. Now, I will have some days off in there. So maybe we'll hit it more in the beginning of June, because I need to visit my parents next month, and then we've got Adepticon coming as well. And somewhere in there, I might have to fly north and take a day off to visit tiny puppies and run them through their evaluation. Puppy priority. That'll be at the beginning of April, though, so if the puppies are born on time. And yes, they're Kiri great-great-grandpuppies. And they're going to be cute as the dickens. Really adorable. Sick as a dog. I'm sorry that you're sick as a dog, Pendrake. Oh, crows. Terrible. Terrible. But thanks for doing that count, Turgeon. That's good. Yeah, so I'm going to say maybe the beginning of June. It'll be close to my birthday. My birthday is in mid-late June. I don't think I'm going to be taking that many days off, though. Although there'll be a few. We get a holiday in there somewhere. But it'll probably be around early June then, when we hit our 500th. And I think I'll organize with Justin some giveaways at the very least. Maybe we'll give away gift certificates so people can buy whatever they want that their little heart desires. It'll be the show's birthday present to people. I've seen fairer faces after a bout of bad shellfish. Yes, puppy. These are not my puppies, though, Shadow Raven. My puppies will be born later. They will, if they are born, if the first litter is born, it will probably be ready to go home right around ReaperCon. Hopefully a little after ReaperCon would be ideal. So that I've got lots of time with the puppy without a lot of disruptive travel. Get the puppy on a routine, then disrupt the puppy. Dogs love their routines. All right, so that's what we're doing is we're filling in our flames. We've got one big flame left. Looks pretty cool, actually. But yes, these puppies, the puppies I'm going up to Canada to see. Actually, I'll be traveling out of country, so let's hope that... Oh, no! Blorf. Way too close. But the puppies that I want to go see in late March, early April are outcross puppies. So we bred out to another breed, and we're going to cross them back to Shiloh's for better health. So these puppies are the first generation, so they will be half Kiri Great Grandpuppy and half Belgian Tervuren, for those of you familiar with that breed. I'm very excited. I'm expecting a litter of bouncy little fox-like puppies. BC. So it's going to be a short flight. It'll be nice. I'll probably fly into Seattle and go up. Southern BC. I really like British Columbia, so this will be a great opportunity for me to go back. I was up there a very long time ago. It was the first vacation I ever took as just alone, my first lone vacation. I really wanted to go to Vancouver, so I flew into Seattle and drove up. It was my first adventure all on my lonesome. And it was really fun. Kiri on crack. The Tervuren that we chose actually is not super high drive. He's I would call him moderate drive. A couple of our board members went out to meet him and assess his temperament before he was chosen for the program. He definitely was on the lower drive and energy on the Tervuren range. And he's also much bigger than the average Terv, which is why his breeder suggested him. Just Shilohs are big dogs. But he's got a lot of red color, and so does Mixel, who is the Kiri great-granddaughter. So I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of reddish little foxy, bouncy puppies, which is going to be awesome. I could visit the otters in person. Yeah, and it should, they're nice dogs, but they do tend to be high drive and they need a job, essentially. So we were looking for one that was not as job-oriented. Because Shilohs are good active dogs, but we also like to produce some couch potatoes here and there, because sometimes that's what people want, especially in a bigger breed. And it is a part of the Shiloh stuff, so we didn't want to go too hyper on the Belgian. We'll see. This was, it's always kind of a, big question mark when you breed one breed to another. Yeah, Belgians, when we went into the city a while ago with, we met up with Derek Schubert and one of David's friends, and saw there was a lady in the park there working with 2 Belgians, and they were, into it. And they were Malinois, so the Malinois are the short-coated Belgian sheepdogs. And those guys are used often for police work, border patrol, all sorts of stuff. They are very high drive. They must have a job. They would turn into nightmares if you do not give them one. We were not interested in using a Malinois. But there are Tervuren breeders who don't like breed just for work, so that's what we were looking for. But it does come with a big brain. They're smart dogs. But yeah, I love watching the Belgians work. They're just so into it. Hi, Coobs. Almost missed your hi in there. So almost got this filled in. And like I said, we can go back over it real quick and make it more solid. And then we can start like doing our NMM and our fill-in in color, which is nice. I'll probably put the base of the gold down over the outside rim, and then I'll start filling in the orange on the inside. And I'll kind of work back and forth between them, kind of judging like how heavy or light or dark I need to make things to have everything show up. And I'm going to try to start like reddish on the bottom of the flames and go up, which is actually the reverse of what it should be. Maybe I'll do it the other way. Maybe I will start with the lighter orange yellow down here and go up to red. I wanted to balance the red up here a little bit, though. I didn't want a lot of the red all there. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah, Malinois are... it's kind of where a lot of police departments went after German Shepherds, because German Shepherds, a lot of them have like health issues or structure. They're just not as athletic as the Malinois. The Malinois is also a smaller dog, so it can move faster. And they do have some serious drive going on. But yeah, they're not for the average family. What we're hoping is with the Tervuren is the point is to breed it back to Shilohs with a bit lower drive and energy and kind of keep a little bit of it, you know, because some people like a dog with higher drive, like I do. I want to do trick training with my new puppies, so I want a little bit more drive to please and stuff. I don't want a hyper dog, but I like a little bit. A little bit of drive is a good thing because it tends to make them easier to train. But yeah, we don't want crazy. So we'll see what we get. But they'll be cute, by gosh. They're going to be cute. Give your new puppy the job of... If only they had opposable thumbs, Spendrake. Oh, wait. No. Let's not give them opposable thumbs. Yeah. Mal's are on Kraken speed. Yeah, Blue Heelers are nice dogs. We used to live next door to one. But yeah, so Tervuren, a little bit better, a little bit lower drive, a little bit lower energy. We'll see. We'll see how it mixes with the Shiloh. But they are a great diversity choice for us because they're weirdly, I don't know if you guys knew this, but a while ago, and National Geographic had an article about this. A while ago, a lab, and I forget which one it is, maybe in Ontario, but they did essentially a canine genome sequencing where they tried to trace the roots of a bunch of breeds and to look at their genetics and to draw parallels between them. And they found that all dog breeds could be put in kind of one of 4 genetic groups. And weirdly, one of those groups was herding breeds. And they were all like, they all had like a chunk of genome in common, kind of. But German Shepherds were not linked to that. German Shepherds actually were closer. They were in the Mastiff group. So they actually were closer genetically to Labrador Retrievers than they were to Belgian Shepherds, German Shepherd dogs. And this was greatly puzzling to the scientists. And so the only thing they could postulate was that because German Shepherds had been bred for so long for guarding and police work, that maybe there were certain traits that had been selected for that they had in common with the Mastiffs, which are also guarding and, you know, that sort of dog. So it was really interesting. Yeah, German Shepherd. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know, exactly. Polydactyl cats. We do not need polydactyl puppies. Isn't it? Yeah. The other thing that study found out, which I thought was really cool, was that the Irish Wolfhound breed almost went extinct for a while. like many breeds did during World War II or World War I, depending on where they were located. And they had to rebuild the Irish Wolfhound breed with like some of the, the few original dogs that were left, and then with some Scottish Deerhound and some other breeds. But when they sequenced the Irish Wolfhound, it still ended up in the ancient breed classification as it would have if it had never been rebuilt. So when they rebuilt that breed, they got lucky and actually managed to retain a large portion of the original DNA. So Irish Wolfhounds genetically are classed with ancient breeds like the Saluki and the Malamute and the Samoyed. A lot of Spitz breeds are, because they're like used as ancient, sled pulling and load drawing and herding dogs, even in the case of the Samoyed. So that's another interesting thing that study found, which made me happy because it meant that they actually saved some of those old genetics. But yeah, so what it comes down to for Shilohs is, even though our roots are herding, and some of our dogs actually are active herding dogs, we genetically have less in common with the herding breeds. So a Belgian Tervuren a Belgian Tervuren outcross gets us a lot of fresh genetics, even though they look a lot like us, which is cool. All right, so let's block in to your daily genetics lesson with Anne. And let's just need one more coat of white on this, and then I'm going to actually mix up this orange. I'm going to start with our light color. Although it may go lighter, I probably will use some lantern or some candlelight yellow to highlight this up. But I'm going to fill in orange first, I think. Thanks, Twisted Noma. We're getting there. If they're showing up and they look like flames, then that's half the battle won right there. To reshake this. Alrighty, so Explosion Orange is a lovely color next to the Ritterlich, actually. Of course, they're complementary. Orange is directly across the color wheel from blue. Very far away, so they go well together. I don't want to thin this orange too much because although Explosion has a decent coverage, it's not quite as... it doesn't quite have the coverage of Sunrise. It's still decent. Yeah, the problem is you got to have a group of breeders with dogs like that. You got to have a group of breeders who understand the problem and are in a position to try to fix it. And sometimes with modern dog breeding, it gets into all about the appearance and the type and the specific temperament, and they're afraid to outcross. And then also with the Dog de Bordeaux, once you're in AKC, they won't let you do the outcrossing that we do. They're all about the purity of lineage, which is great and all until your breed's in genetic crap shape. Then you're in trouble. The FCI, which is kind of the big registry in Europe, actually does allow outcrossing if you can convince it that it's necessary. You have to petition for it. I wish that AKC would consider something like that. But even if it did, a lot of the breeders really are against it. So it's hard. I'm glad that I'm in a breed where we can do it because we're not AKC. We don't have to, apply to anybody. We run our own registry. All right, just gonna make this a little crisper. I noticed that after I got the white down in here, it wasn't quite as tight up there. They really do, Crowley, they really do. Well, and an effort needs to be made to educate the breeders too about why diversity is important. And that when it comes down to it, if a dog is a purebred, that just means it breeds true, and you can get back to type. If you cross out to the weirdest thing, you could get back to looking like a purebred in 3 or 4 generations, depending on what you cross to. But yeah, I just want healthy dogs. Like, that's it. When I was younger, when I was a kid, we had 2 different purebreds, and both had genetic disorders. The Sheltie had a thyroid problem, and the pointer, the German short-haired pointer, ended up with epilepsy. So that made an impression on me as a kid, so I guess it probably colored my view of everything on that front. So over the white, look how bright the orange is. And also it's going to seem to cover a bit better. I'm pulling it pretty thin here, and I certainly, I could get brush strokes if I overlap too much, because I am doing it pretty thin. But it's really nice and beautiful over the white. And that's why you want a nice solid white underneath, underpainting here, so that the orange will really show up nicely. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the corgis do have a natural docked tail gene. Like, they have a stubtail gene. So some are docked and some are not. At least that was my understanding. Am I wrong there, Miss Tim? But because there was a guy in boxers in, I think, the 80s who he also agreed that like docking tails needed to end, but what he did is he outcrossed to a corgi that had a natural short tail gene for his boxers. Imagine what those looked like, right? You can actually find pictures online. And then he crossed back to boxers, and he retained the natural short tail gene, so he didn't have to dock his puppy's tails, but he still got a short tail. Bobtail is rare. Interesting. Yeah. The bobtail boxer thing is pretty cool, because even after breeding a boxer to a corgi, very different breeds, I think by the third generation, he was able to champion one of those boxers. Like, he was showing it, and he just did not tell anybody that it was an outcross. All right, so that's lovely. I like that orange a lot. And it's pretty good up here too, even though it's tiny up here. I think, yeah, I did remember reading that it is it's a double lethal. Yeah. Essentially, they'll reabsorb the embryos, right? That's too bad, because it would otherwise be an answer where you could still have your short tails. And I personally prefer long tails, so I like long-tailed dogs, and I cannot lie. Alrighty. Yeah, and then another coat just to fix the patchiness here. It'll also make the color more vibrant. Corgis are funny little dogs. They are adorable. Jim from Dark Sword is sending me a couple of his corgi anthropomorphic animals, because I think they're adorable. There we go. And then just get a little bit more paint over here. But yeah, I'll try to take some cute puppy pictures when I'm up doing that litter eval. Because cute puppy pictures for the win. All right, so we got the beautiful bright orange. Let's do our, let's grab our rich leather and kind of put down that gold border, just so we can start getting a feel for it, because the white will go away. Yeah, exactly. Plus, they're like Kiri great-grandpuppies, great-great-grandpuppies. So I like to have pictures of Kiri's kids, or descendants, I should say. Kids' descendants. Kids' descendants. All right, so we're going to keep our rich leather a little bit thicker also. I'm going to just do a 4-to-1 because I want it to cover pretty quick over these lighter lines. Yeah, it's true. You don't get the tail attrition. Shilohs are pretty bad, especially big, fluffy-tailed like the plush. Definitely in danger of knocking things over when there are wags. Alrighty. 4-to-1 means it's pretty thick, and you're seeing that on the way it doesn't fall off the side of the palette. Hey Riot, how's it going? It's morning for me. Just going to get one coat on that. It's going to look a lot like the orange at first. That's why we're going to be like bringing in some shading and highlighting on the orange to make sure it doesn't get too close to the gold. Oh, I've got a hair sticking on my brush. 1 second. Must remove hair. It was an outside hair, not a brush hair. And just go slow when you're doing these little precise things. The nice thing is that rich leather, and this is where the transparency works for you. Because rich leather is a little bit transparent, even if I accidentally paint it over part of the blue, chances are it's not going to cover, so you're not going to really see it. But if you do, you can always, touch it up just like we did with the white by going back over it briefly with the reaperlive blue. I'm trying to think about anything with a flat cape. I mean, honestly, if you're going to practice ArrowWiz, I would just like prime a piece of like card, like I use watercolor cards, or just work with watercolor paper. Honestly, you can paint right on it and just practice on a flat surface first. Yeah, they are herding dogs for sure. Yup, right. Yeah, the newfies. Oh my gosh. Bye, Bill Robertson. Thanks for stopping in. Yep, Schnauzer are nice. Schnauzer are good dogs. Schnauzers. Okay, so as you can see, you can still see the shape of the flame, even though I've like done another coat of the rich leather. That's good. When we highlight this, we'll be bringing out those little wispy details even more. But now at least the edging is looking a little darker than the orange flame. Oh, Bernedoodle. Wow. Oh, yeah, Raven Day, Greyhounds, yep. And Labradors, like a Labrador whiptail. That hurts too. I'm just looking forward to having a dog again. I ran into a lot of happy dogs when I was walking the other day. Happy dogs with big smiles. There was a greyhound with the biggest smile I think I've ever seen. She was insisting to her people that they move from side to side across the sidewalk downtown so that she could sniff everything. And her hapless people were more or less getting pulled along in her wake. She was a very happy dog. Whippets are like the best kept secret in the dog world. They have some of the most lovely little temperaments. They are wonderful dogs. Their owners and breeders are generally happy with them being the best kept secret in the dog world. Yeah, exactly. Greyhounds have big smiles with their long faces. It's true. Bernie Poodle just sounds like trouble. Like normally, Bernese like save themselves from trouble because they don't have all the brains in the world. They're not necessarily smarter than the average dog. However, poodles are mad geniuses. So mixing a Bernese Mountain Dog and a poodle seems like fraught with peril to me. Am I wrong there? Bernepoodle. Oh my gosh. Like that's nothing is as bad as the Jack Russell terrorist, as they call it, or the border terrorist. Border Collie and Jack Russell. That's the mix that is the most popular for like sport dogs, like Flyball and stuff. But oh my gosh, like that mix just sounds like just that dog is going to rule the world. How do you keep that under control? But people who want a ton of drive in a small package love the Border Collie and Jack Russell mixes. Although, actually, speaking of whippets, Border Collie whippets are also very popular. And I actually got to evaluate a litter of those. Yeah. Yeah, poodles are pure trouble. Mm-hmm. Refuses to learn but is devious when left on its own. Yeah, there it is. Refuses to learn. That's the Bernese. But then the evil brain cells come out. Yeah, it's just a recipe for trouble. Alrighty, we got all these nice warm colors coming out on the back of this flame. I like it. Yeah, whippets have wonderful temperaments. I will admit, I am a kind of a fan of the whippet. But shepherds are where my heart really is. So for now I am still shepherdy. There we go. All right, I think we've got that blocked in. So we've got the gold edges, or the to-be gold edges, around the orange flames. I'm going to put some shading on the flames now, I think. Let's do some fun stuff. Change the color a little bit. Every time you highlight and shade, especially if you use different colors, you're going to change the overall color of the thing. So let us add some red. I'm going to use Phoenix Red because that's what we use for his skin tone. cool, Major Joey. Fist bump. Shepherd friends. Love shepherds. Maybe I'll show you guys puppy pictures really quick. Because there's another group of... I showed you the little Shiloh beans before. But, let's see. I might not have enough internet for this. And there. We will attempt. There we are. Maybe I'll show you a Kiri great-great-grandpuppy. I think there are some new pictures of these. Their eyes are open now. They're starting to be ultra cute. There we go. Oh, thanks for the bits, Major Joey. Super appreciated. So, okay, so here are the parents, and the one there is Kiri's great-grandson, Atticus. And there they are at like 3 weeks, I think. Very adorbs. So they're, when you see this color pattern, it's a sable, and this boy will be probably a bicolor or a dual, so he'll mostly stay black on the body with tan legs. Yeah, so there you go. Puppy pictures, the real reward for tuning into Anne's show. So yes, those are 3-week-old Shiloh Shepherd puppies. Kiwi great-great-grandkids. One of my dog friends is getting one, so she'll be putting up tons of pictures. At least I think as long as one fits her temperament and requirements. But yeah, they're adorbs. So that bunch is I won't be going to the evaluation for that bunch because they're out on the East Coast, which is a much longer flight for me these days. So let's get our Phoenix Red actually covers pretty well. So to get it a little thinner, I need to add more water to it. I want to be able to kind of glaze highlights in, or shadows rather. Yes, as long as the puppies cannot chew on the minis, you're good. So I'm gonna put the redder color on the thinner tendrils and the up higher areas on these flames. And since it's thinned, it's going to be a little more subtle at first. There we see it. So I want each of these flame tongues to have some of the red at the upper part. And I can always bring my orange back in to blend it if I feel I've gotten a little bit choppy. Actually, emotional support is like one of the things I say Shilohs excel at service work, some types of service work. But I think emotional support, I wouldn't, as a longtime breeder and like involved with the community of these dogs, I think that they are not good emotional support or PTSD animals. The reason is that Shilohs are really sensitive to your mood. It's one of the things that makes the breed really unique is they're really in tune with their owners. And the way that they're not bred to be a very independent dog. So they tend to depend on their owner for the confidence, which means that if the owner is emotionally upset, the dog is going to be inclined to reflect that, not to fight against it like a breed that maybe is a little more independent, a little bit able to like separate itself from its owner. A Shiloh is really in tune with you. And it's one of the things that we love about them, but it doesn't make them great emotional support animals because they're going to get upset when you're upset. That's my official, honest opinion. Some breeders may disagree with me. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I think that breeds that are maybe a little bit more oblivious, but that are like maybe are better, like labs. I hate to say it. Like labs are still, it's not that I mean, all dogs are somewhat in tune with their owners. Shiloh's just take it to a whole nother level. There we go. Got that red coming in. I really like that. Well, or, you could aim for a more oblivious breed of dog. Yeah, I find it's a hard balance. Like, plus with an emotional support animal, if you're going to take them out into the world, you also need a dog that's going to be a little bit more aloof, more focused on you, less on people around you. Like, there's all sorts of criteria. If we're getting a service animal, really look into it, because when you have a service animal, especially if you take them out and about with you, you're going to get more attention, not less, because you've got a dog. So always remember that. That actually, an acquaintance of mine who was thinking about getting a Shiloh service dog actually decided not to because of that, once he realized that he didn't like crowds at all, and a dog was going to be a people magnet unless he did a lot of work. Like, it's work educating people about how to interact with service animals, right? It's a never-ending job. So, yeah. There we go. So we've got some nice, like, fade going on. You can see even in the little guys. We've got that fade from the orange to the red. I like it a lot. Ah, okay. But yeah, what Shilohs do great at is medical alert dogs. Epilepsy, diabetes. Like, they're fantastic because they're so in tune with you. One of Kiri's puppies, Kiri's daughter Astra, it was a seizure alert dog. And she will know that it's coming on minutes before her owner. And they're very good at diabetic alert for the same reason. And I think they'd be pretty good mobility dogs, but the problem there is ideally you get an adult, or you have to be really, really good about not putting weight on the puppy as it's growing. There we go. So we've got our nice red fade going on here. Oh, is it my fault? Thank you, Alfie. I'm glad you like it. Astra is almost all white. Correct, Pendrake. She's a buff, so she has apricot kind of coloring on her white coat. You may have seen her at ReaperCon. And I'll shade down a little bit here. Well, at least it's almost the end of the stream. So I'm just bringing that red down a little bit into the shadows of these folds a little. I may need to use another color for shading here, but I'm going to at least start it with this to bring it a little darker. And then I'll judge what I'm going to do with it. There. Yay. All right, cool. Yep. Yeah, Astra's a good girl. She has a temperament very like Kiri's. So, one of my favorite puppies. Let's see. Let's use Sun Yellow. Since we're using a lot of old classics with this, a lot of core and not bones, let's use Sun Yellow. Oh, that's good. That's good, Korniko. You have a medical alert cat. That's fantastic. Of all people in the world, you would. Your cats are very multifaceted. Yep. Yeah, animals, when they're very attached to you, that's just it, right? So they know They can sense that something is off about you. Either they can smell it or they'll notice it in the way you move. Because animals, you know, they communicate a lot via posture. So it's very logical then that they would notice your posture and when it's like off or on, if something is different. So it doesn't surprise me at all that cats are capable of that. All right. Probably also gold. I just haven't quite gotten to it yet. I was trying to get some progress on the flames so that people wouldn't just have to watch me base coat all day. Trying to do some fun stuff to break up the blocking in. Yeah, that's cats. I could maybe go orange with it, but then I would come up against the skin up here, so I'm not really into that idea. Usually I go like a metallic with my, or a metallic color with my borders. Alrighty, let's get some yellow in here, and I'm going to mix 2 drops with some explosion orange, and we're using these 2 colors. Let me back up and get out there. Sun yellow and explosion orange. Sun yellow is a good highlighter for anything warm, be it gold, NMM, or blonde hair, or any orange, because it's got a lot of warmer pigments in it. It has a touch of red in it already, so it tends to shift that way. It also has a lot of orange phase yellow pigment. So it tends to work very well with warmer colors when you have to mix highlights. Yep. Yeah, see, dogs, it's crazy what they can sense. We had a Shiloh breeder who focused on diabetic alert dogs, Julia, for a while. Her husband is a type 1 diabetic. So her dogs just started pretty much naturally alerting, and then they would train all their puppies. So pretty much an 8-week-old puppy capable of diabetic alert work because they learned it from their parents. Red or orange over yellow making brown. You could get a brownish color with an orange over yellow, but I don't think I've ever had that happen unless there's black involved. Usually you don't see a shift. You don't see red or orange shift to brown unless there's black involved somewhere in that equation. Or blue. Like if the red or the orange had black in it, I could see it, but no, I haven't actually had that happen. All right, so the color I've mixed is a very orangey yellow. It's very similar to lantern yellow, but a bit more orange, a little closer to marigold yellow maybe. So let's now try to get that down here on the bottom of the flames. So we've got a transition. I have a little bit of something in the paint there. I'll have to nick it off later. So I want to transition from yellow on up. Gonna get this a little bit higher up on this fold and build it up a little. Yellows can take a couple of layers to really build. Orange can be really, really transparent depending on the color. But over yellow, it should have been okay. Yeah, that's odd. I'd have to like see the exact colors that you were using. Then I would be able to tell you why. Like why you might have gotten brown. That's true. That's true. If you were putting it over a darker color, I thought you said you were putting it over yellow. In which case I I don't know why it would have gone that way with you. But if you were putting an orange over darker color, then it would actually be very likely to go brown and not cover immediately. So I wasn't sure which way you were going there. Now I'm going to mix up some pure sun yellow, I think. Yeah, have fun with lunch, Shadow Raven. Thanks for showing up. We will be back tomorrow with, I think it's bust day. Yeah, it's bust day. Bust day. I do want a bit of a brighter yellow, so I'm just going to grab my sun yellow and mix it about 1-to-1 with water. Let's see if I can get a really bright orange over yellow. Yeah, see, that's weird. Unless it was an ochre. Like, if it was more of an ochre-y yellow, I could see it going brown. That's just weird. Trying to bring it up even more toward yellow on the bottoms there. Want it to really pop. A little bit. Yeah, that yellow is really popping there. Okay, good. Yay. My orange was too similar, apparently. Sometimes when you're dealing with really light, bright colors, you'll think you have mixed an intermediate stage, but it won't really show up, and you realize that you really have to double down on it. Like I did here. I went from doing a mix of sun yellow and explosion to just going up to sun, and it looks a lot better. Yeah. Yeah, yellow over pink, yes. There. That looks nice. Excellent. So now I'm going to come and bring this yellow down just into the bottom of this. Tiny bits of little flames. Yay! Okay, I like this. This is good. Yeah, that's true. If there was something under the yellow, maybe it was taking it a little darker and you'd get brown. It's all weird. Yeah. Like I said, if I saw like the pictures of what you were using, I probably could make an educated guess. But just imagining, I'm having trouble. All right, I'm going to pop my gold over this white border just to wipe out the last vestige of white. Our flame is pretty. It's a pretty flame. I like it. Yay! It always gratifies me when I do some freehand and then I actually like it. Like, sometimes it's like, well, I'm like okay with it, but I really like this one. Yeah, that's really weird. If there wasn't a dark color under the white primer, that's really weird. No idea. Oh, I forgot to finish my, oh no, that's right. That's right, because this is a separate piece of cloth. I always forget that. All right, let's get in there and try to get that little white line in the shadow. So we're having a good brush is very useful. Even then, though, I still blurfed a little bit to either side. So I'm going to grab some water, take that out. Yeah, it's rich leather for my base gold. That's what I tend to reach for now, just because it's always on my plate. I've also used, I used to use Uniform Brown, 9127. I still really like that color as a base for NMM Gold. And NMM Gold Shadow is also a great base for NMM Gold, obviously. But I tend to not have that like right on top of my table. So I tend to just reach for, since I use rich leather for so many things, it tends to actually have a place that stays on my table. And so it's just easy for me to grab it. But yeah, there are several colors in MSP that would be good for this. And Uniform Brown is one of them, definitely. And Uniform Brown, to be fair, actually has slightly better coverage than rich leather. Oh, Citadel Troll Slayer, really transparent. Yeah, maybe. I'm not familiar with the color, so see then you're working with pigments where I'm not sure what pigments are in it, and I can't really guess. When in doubt, put down white and put your orange over the top like I did here. You're always going to get that color then. There's nothing else to play with it. All right, it's about time to call it. I am going to finish this edge of this cloak, and then we will talk about what we're doing tomorrow. Probably have to do another coat on the gold edging, just to bring it to the richness that I want it and the solidity that I want it. But that is where we are right now with our bright shiny flame, which I think creates a visual interest plenty on the back here, and also lets us bring some of that red orange in that's used to highlight his skin tone. Oh, we forgot to do our orange bottles. I'm going to just do a quick explosion orange coat over the top, just like I did on the freehand on the back, just to get those blocked in. There we are. Got that orange in there, so I can start darkening that down. And there we go. Okay, so what we did today, we took our freehand from a sketch to a almost finished freehand. We just need to do the gold edging on all of that, which is awesome. Tomorrow, we will continue work on our bust, which is coming right along. We'll probably do her eyes. We'll finish out her eyes. Maybe work on the skin tone on the chest, the ears, kind of bringing highlights up on the skin tone to bring that up. And if we have time, maybe we'll put a base coat on the hair. So we'll work more on skin tomorrow on our bust. We'll do eyeballs, maybe work on the mouth, whatever we have time for. That's all in that sort of thing. The skin tones and the eyes are so important on busts. So this is one of the most important parts of the model. So that will be tomorrow, everybody. We've got a show later today, right, Quindy? Rhonda, isn't it? Yes, ta-da! Yes, Rhonda, I was right. Yay, 2 p.m. Central. Go and give Rhonda some love, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow morning. Have a great one, and bye-bye.